Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's episode, we are reacting to Sunday's shock win by Manchester United away at Liverpool. Is this a turning point for Ruben Amorim, or is the same issue still present? Let's get it, Christian. Okay, Christian, Manchester United beat Liverpool on Sunday 2-1 at Anfield. Manchester United's first win at Anfield since 2016. Louis van Gaal was the coach and Wayne Rooney scored the winning goal. Just to put it in perspective of how dire it's been for Manchester United at Liverpool. And Ruben Amorim goes there and, let's be honest, should have won last year as well.
Yeah.
The same guy who scored the winner on Sunday should have scored the winner last year in Harry Maguire. So it's just... it's like your typical United are struggling, go and beat the champions away. Obviously, I was actually flying home from holiday, hence why we've been a bit quiet on putting episodes out. And now you're going away, so we're going to try and squeeze in as much content as possible. I obviously have watched the game retrospectively. The pilot read the score out mid-flight, and I was like, wait, what? United won 2-1?
I thought you was joking about it. He actually did that.
No, he did. No, you
That's
know the
crazy.
actual thing. The pilot actually read it out. He actually went, it must have been 60th, 70th minute, and he went, United are winning 1-0. I was sat there like, oh my God. And then when the game was over, say 30, 40 minutes later, because the fucking Michael Oliver found 8 minutes of added time that didn't exist, he comes on the thingy and went, the final score is Liverpool 1. I thought, oh, well, at least we got a draw. United 2. I was like... If they equalised, I would have bet every penny I own that they would have gone on to win 2-1. Obviously, you watched the game live, so you might have had a better feel for it than me. Obviously, I've watched it retrospectively. Talk to me about how the game went. Obviously, I missed it live because I was literally in the air coming home from holiday. Obviously, they've been struggling. We're going to talk about Liverpool in a separate episode. From a United's perspective, what did you make of it? I mean, I know exactly what I'm going to say. You probably know exactly what I'm going to say. What did you think about it? Is there anything to build on? What did United do well? Was it just a case of coming out on the right side of a basketball game? What did you think about the game on Sunday, Christian?
Yeah, well, first of all, before we get into that, were you doing that Ruben Amorim song that you've battered everyone for on the plane when he read the result?
Yeah. There was, bless this guy. He sat next to me and he's a top red. And he was so happy. I was so happy. But yeah. I know I should have, instead of like clapping when the plane lands, I should have just started. To be honest, because a lot of people fly back to Manchester from Liverpool anyway. There was a few Scousers on the plane. It was brilliant.
Oh, God, that's fantastic. Yeah, obviously I watched it live. We didn't do a watch-along, as you said, you've been away. I thought there was a lot of positives to take from United. I think Cunha, probably one of his best performances in the United shirt.
Let's do the positives, mate. I agree. Yeah,
I think if we run it from this, I'd say Cunha was a standout performer. I think massive credit, and this leads to this, massive credit to Amorim. I think credit where it's due, that he chose to not go with Sesko.
Absolutely.
And I mean, Slaughter's said it all, hasn't he? It flummoxed him. He doesn't think it's fair. So the fact that he went with that, he played his little ace card, and it seemed to work. It flummoxed Liverpool. Couple of other shout-outs as well. Harry Maguire, and I feel like this guy has been subject to abuse that, we've not really seen that much of. He's become a meme, a legit meme, by United fans and by all the other rival supporters. And I think the way he shows character, you've got to give this lad respect sooner or later. I do understand, look, his defensive issues, and there are deficiencies to his game. However, you have got to stand back sometimes and just go, fair fucking play, man. I think he nearly got the winner, didn't he, last year?
That's what I said at the beginning of the year.
He came back.
Exactly, mate. Yeah. He
back. He shows character, getting the winner at Anfield. And I think you've got to look at that and give him some credit. I think United were fantastic in transitions, to be honest, which we can go deeper in as to why that may be and why that suited them. I do think United did the best. All the things that Amorim wants them to do, they did perfect in that match, really. They were fantastic in transitions. I think the midfield was strong. I think Casemiro played well, which I've seen quite a few mixed reviews about, to be honest. But I think he did make a couple of daft fouls. But Casemiro on the whole, and taking into his age, I think he did really well. You look at that Liverpool lineup, and you look at how much pressure United knew they were going to be under. I think United dealt with it very well, and we just kind of sat back, almost like we did at times against you, going, right, well, what can you do? Break us down. And ultimately, Liverpool were struggling. From minute one, it was it was an onslaught. But if you actually look at it, they were really struggling to create open cut. I mean, they did have them Gakpo cut-ins and slaps the post. Salah sort of had a bit of a half chance that he spoons wide. Gakpo with that free header should have, of course, scored.
Yeah.
I think overall, man, I really was impressed. And I think all the things United were doing, I think they were doing to a pretty high level.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you made some really good points then. Let's start with Amorim, and obviously the big shout was Cunha over Sesko. Sesko scored 2 in 2, I think, has he, or something like that. Definitely got one, didn't he, before the international break against Sunderland. And he's been playing quite well, Sesko. Got to give the guy credit. Obviously, he sticks Cunha in there as the 9. I mean, he wasn't a true 9. Him and Mbeumo and Mount were interchanging. And Maguire plays over Yoro. They were the 2 big calls. And you know what? We'll come to Diallo as well. Diallo right wing back. I have been saying, if you're going to play 3-4-3, don't be giving me 5 defenders. He didn't. I'll give you credit as well for that. So let's start with Cunha. You're right, Christian. He was very validated for this. Now, Carragher did a fantastic piece on how Manchester United had success without a target man. And you know what's strange? You probably picked this up in the game. Lammens was instructed to play long. United played long ball on Sunday, but didn't play Sesko. They played Cunha. So, really, you're going like, nah, if you're going to go long ball, you play Sesko right. Now, Amorim said, if I play Sesko, Van Dijk and Konate are going to be happier, whether we play long ball or not. So what I'm going to do is, we're going to go long ball, we're going to win the second ball. And if you notice, the first goal, first minute, came from Van Dijk won 2 headers. United picked the loose ball up with Fernandes, I think it was, who plays it out.
That's a great take. That's a really good point, that. And I think, you've got to look at Amorim there and give him some fair credit for that one.
Because a lot of people, I mean, the team came out when I was at the airport in Tenerife, and then obviously I'm on Twitter, my friends are not happy. Where's Yoro? Where's Sesko? And I think there's fair questions. Yeah. He was validated for this, by the way, Amorim, and he got it right. And I saw something on Twitter, and United have won the most second balls in the league this season, team-wise. And I think that's a big thing that he's looked at and gone, look, we're lumping it long. Lammens is lumping it long, and we're playing a 3-4-3. That doesn't go with the. You play 3-4-3 to build from the back because you have an extra player.
You go long when you have the big lad up top.
It sort of is. It goes against what you're setting up to do. You're playing 3-4-3 because you want to build from the back because you have 3 centre backs that outnumber a striker and a number 10. However, we're going long. We're going to win the second ball. And what Carragher showed on a Monday Night Football, he did a great piece. It's on YouTube. Mount, Cunha, and Mbeumo, Casemiro, and Fernandes were a tight box 5 in that central area. When they won the header, which they are going to with Konate and Van Dijk, it fell to one of them 5, and United broke quickly. I agree with you. I thought Cunha was absolutely superb on Sunday. I thought his ball retention and his ball carrying, I mean, we've gone from Garnacho to this guy, and Chelsea are figuring it out now. I've seen them. He got hooked at the weekend at half-time, Garnacho. He's crap. He can't carry the ball. He can't win fouls, and he loses it a lot. Cunha is the opposite. The stats, we need them to come. He has obviously not got any at the moment. But what a performance from Cunha, man, and shout out him. But yeah, I totally agree with you. And Maguire over you mentioned Maguire. Again, it made sense. We're going to be sitting in a bit. However, he played Maguire over Yoro at Brentford. You've got to get these decisions right. He got them right on Sunday. He deserves massive credit. And the big one we'll talk about now, Christian, is he went with Diallo at right wing-back, which I've been saying to you, if you want to play 3-4-3 at Man United, you cannot be chucking me 5 defenders and none of them can attack. Diallo can't attack. Mazraoui can't attack. Dorgu can't attack. Don't be playing 2 of them 3 at wing-back because the shit. Diallo has to play at right wing back, and he did it away at Anfield. Massive respect to him for doing that. And what I've been saying to you, Christian, in the summer when we signed Mbeumo, I want to see Amad and Mbeumo causing problems because I said to you, and I posted a TikTok on this, and I had a look at it, and I had Liverpool fans in my comments laughing at my take. They weren't laughing on Sunday, neither was Kerkez and neither was Van Dijk, because what was happening, Christian? Amad Diallo, Kerkez was on Diallo. Kerkez, by the way, how poor is he playing? Maybe that's one for the Liverpool app. Kerkez can't handle Diallo. Van Dijk's getting pulled out into the Mbeumo areas because Mbeumo is a right-sided forward anyway. What was happening? United were causing problems. Amad and Mbeumo both, they weren't stepping on the toes, Christian. The goal came from them too. And Amad should have had another assist with the Fernandes chance as well. So what did you think of going Diallo at right wing back? 1, were you shocked? And 2, can you see something as a positive, as a glass half full for Man United in this 3-4-3 with Diallo and Mbeumo potentially exposing teams who've got a back four, essentially?
I think if you look at it, there is certainly positives to take. I think Ahmad was brave, and I do admire him for that. However, if you are going with that system, I feel like it's a no-brainer. Like you said, you cannot go with a back five and play 5 defensive-minded players. You have to have some sort of outlet. That's the whole advantage of playing that ace card, of having the back 5. The idea is you can then outnumber on attacks. So if you're going with a back 5 that ultimately that they have nothing going forward, there's no advantage. So he does go Amad, and I think there was times where Amad and Mbeumo maybe getting used to each other, maybe that you could see something going forward. I liked how Mbeumo was kind of going more central. You see with the goal, he's putting himself in the mix, like you said then, first to the second ball. I did like to see that, and they're not stepping on each other's toes. They need to establish a relationship. And I think if this is to work, them two are the key guys. Cunha is a naturally good footballer. He's just gifted at football. Yes, he's not getting the figures right now, but I think they will come. And I will go into why I think they will come later on into the app. But I think them two are your key positions, because if you ultimately cannot get Mbeumo and Amad being able to establish something on that wing, you're not going to have anything. And you're going to keep flitting towards this, who do we go? Do we go Dallo again? You know what I mean? You can't have that now. That has got to be nailed down every week, that is what you go with. I mean, you've got to. There's no other option.
It's our play. I said it to you. I said it in the TikTok in the summer when we signed Mbeumo. I said, Amad picks up the fullback offensively. He occupies Kirkes in this situation on Sunday. Who's picking up Mbeumo? It's exactly what I said. Is that the centre-back? Because Mbeumo was working yards on fullbacks last year for Brentford. So now you've got Van Dijk going, fuck me, I'm getting a bit too far out of position here. I want to stay in the box and defend the box with Konate. And we had joy from it.
That's a great point, Alex. And what was happening is when you were going out and fielding Dallo, teams were like, well, we don't even need to worry about that, because Kirkes can just go and stand. If this had have happened, they'd have gone, well, Kirkes, you just watch Mbeumo. That's all. Don't worry that they're playing a fucking this back 5. He can't cross anyway, and he can't do anything. Just leave him to it. Ignore that they're doing that, right? But you having him there in Amad was a bit of a, shit, well, you can't leave him because he is dangerous. And I think that's what it played. And it did you looked very good going forward in transition, certainly. And to be fair, just another shout out, I think Sesko did quite well when he came on as well. I think, look, he is what he is, Sesko.
No, he's better than I thought,
He is what he is in terms of, his stature, the way he moves, what his build-up play is going to be like. But I think if you can get the best out of him, I told you when you first signed him, what you want to be getting out of him is like an Edin Dzeko. Look, decent build-up. They're not ever going to move mountains in terms of their play and their ability on the ball. But if they're a fucking handful and they can also help the team progressing up the pitch, lay it off when they need to, and execute in front of goal, that's all you really need, right?
I think Sesko, I think Dzeko's a great comp, by the way. I think the corner came from Sesko bringing it down, bang, bang, kept hold of it, and he played Cunha in, right? And Cunha's cross shot
that's one.
went behind for the corner, short corner to Mbeumo, back to Bruno, and into Maguire. So you're right. I mean, Sesko came on. He's playing with a good level of confidence, Sesko. I feel if the ball's getting fired into him, he's keeping hold of it. And I think after Højlund last year, we just mentioned the Garnacho to Cunha upgrade. I mean, I don't care what Højlund's doing at Napoli. Don't give a shit. He was awful last season. And Sesko is getting a grip of the ball. He's sniffing out chances. He's got a couple of goals to his name. So I'm really pleased. And obviously he came on as a sub. Good attitude from him. No whinging. And Amorim deserves massive credit. And obviously Maguire as well. I think you make some really good points. I think for me, let's flip it to some negatives. And can I just caveat this with, I am so chuffed we beat Liverpool. I want United to build on this. I want United to be good. I don't. Yeah. I would be so happy to come on here and say I was wrong about Amorim. I was wrong about 3-4-3. I was wrong about saying get him sacked. However, for me personally, I still have issues with the system defensively. I agree with you. I think offensively we're quite dangerous, especially if Diallo's playing, because you do create a bit of a headache for defensive teams. Because, like you said, the flip side is the left hand side, where teams are letting Dorgu and Dallo have it, and Cunha is not getting the space that Mbeumo's going to get or Mount's going to get, because they're going to tuck in. Frimpong, you tuck in. Bradley, you tuck in. Whereas Kirkes, you're right, Christian. Kirkes was having to pick Diallo up, and you're like, shit, who's picking up Mbeumo? So I agree with
this
you.
in mind, Alex, I just wanted to ask you this. So I sort of know you've touched on the system, and I wanted to ask you this first before you were going to say this. Do you think this system now can work going forward? Do you think this is a change and we're seeing that it's a coming of age for the system? Or do you just think it was more the opponents you were playing it, which sounds mad because you were playing the champions, but do you think it was more suited because of who you were playing rather than a mid-table dobber?
No, I still don't see longevity in the system. I don't see it. And I think the first Gakpo chance that he hit the post with tells me everything I need to know about the issues around this system. And you're right. I thought Casemiro had a pretty good game. I thought Bruno had a pretty good game. He went through a sketchy half an hour where he was fucking losing it. And obviously you get the phenomenal cross at the end for Maguire. But what happened? Dalot loses it. One pass through the middle of the pitch, and Salah has got a free break ahead of him. Finds Gakpo. Gakpo's one-on-one with a centre-back because we're playing a back three, and he cuts in, and we get away with it, like we got away with it again when he hit the post for a second time. The problem I'm seeing is in midfield, teams are going to still go straight through it. And the problem is like that for me is a great summary of the issues with this system, is that Dalot lost the ball needlessly for that Gakpo chance. He loses it, and we are high up the pitch because Casemiro and Fernandes are trying to squeeze up a little bit. You're trying to get that box of 5 players that Carragher highlighted. And as soon as that happens, Bruno and Casemiro have no idea what's behind them, and they have no athleticism to get back. So as soon as Dalot lost that ball, which Dalot and Dorgu are going to lose the ball a lot, they have no chance. United are getting knifed through, and they got knifed through, and they got away with it. And this is the problem with the centre of the pitch. For the first time, I did see that Lammens goes long, and we have a second ball opportunity. We're going to win it. We're going to build from there. Defensively, look, Christian, I mean, people are very quick to talk about Manchester United's XG. I don't know how much weight people watching this, or you even, Christian, give to XG. I think it's a bit of I think I like to use it as a bit of a steer on how many chances people are creating.
Yeah, you can say it serves its purpose. You can't just overuse it. That's the only thing.
Let me give you this, right? So United they are second in the league for XG behind Crystal Palace, weirdly, another 3-4-3 team. I don't know what that means. Maybe a coincidence. So United are second in the league for XG. We are the 4th worst in the league for XG. And do you know the 3 worst than us? Forest, West Ham and Burnley. Arguably 3 of the worst teams in the league right now. So Manchester United, yes, we are creating chances moving forward. However, we are getting obliterated this way. Liverpool, City should have scored 6. Liverpool should have scored definitely more than 1. I mean, it should have been 2-2. You said it, Ekitike missed the gilt edge at the end. You had the Salah one at the back post. You had, obviously, Gakpo hit the post twice, although three times, but one was a cross, in fairness, that was lucky. What do you think about United going this way and the problems we've got? Because I just think Brighton are going to create chances on Saturday. Did we just come out on the right side of a basketball game on Sunday? Are we going to come out on the wrong side on Saturday against Brighton? I need to see more that I can go, that's sustainable.
I think the things you're saying are very fair. Look, we obviously have come on this channel and you have pretty much hammered Amorim, and you've not understood a lot of his decision making and his choices, as have a lot of United fans. Now, I think what you're saying is fair, and I do share a lot of the same sentiment. If you look at who they were playing and who the teams you have actually played well against, who this system has flourished against, it's teams ultimately that are going to try and come at United and pin them back. So United can be more dangerous in moments, in transitions, and I think that suits the system. Now, where it's going to become a problem is these decent sides who are not going to do that, but they're still going to create a hell of a lot. And ultimately, they kind of pass the mantle to United and they're like, go on then, show us what you're going to do. United no longer become the counterpunch. They're the aggressor. And I think this is where this whole system unravels. And you will see it again. And I'm not being over negative. Look, yeah, fair play. You got the win. Celebrate it. You've also got to be realistic, because the same people that are over celebrating it don't then be after Brighton or whoever else going, I don't know what's going on. And also, do not listen to Amorim, because I can already see this excuse coming. And he's going to be saying, like Pat actually said this in the group chat, so shout out Pat, I won't take the full credit. But he will be going to the media after a bad loss against a Brighton, against whoever, mid-table, and he will say, well, look at that performance against Liverpool. You don't get that.
Yeah.
The Premier League is not one size fits all. And what I fear for Amorim is I don't think that penny has dropped, because if it had dropped, he wouldn't be making these comments. And I do feel like he'll do it again. So, yeah. Take the credit for this win, but don't be using this like this is just we beat Liverpool, so I don't know why. You tell me why the squad then can't go and beat Crystal Palace at home, why it can't beat Forest.
It's not like,
it doesn't go like that. You've got to understand that other teams, they might become the counter-puncher, and ultimately that then puts it on you. So if you have got Amad that's way out of position and you're getting caught in transitions yourself, and like you say, then that means you've got this 3 at the back thing that's a bit of a disaster. It's waiting for an accident to happen. It will rear its ugly head, and that's where I kind of sit with it, Alex.
I've got another layer to what you're saying here about you're so right. You can't just go, we played well in 3-4-3 against Liverpool at Anfield, and we played well against Arsenal in 3-4-3. We also got swatted by City at 3-4-3, and we also struggled against shit teams. The thing is with it, Brighton are a perfect example. Now, Carragher, again, fantastic piece. I mentioned it before. Please go and watch it on his Monday Night Football. He was looking at what United did well. He also looked at what United didn't do well. Do you know the chances that Liverpool got? You're right. Liverpool, for all of their play, actually didn't create loads. They did create enough to get at least a point, by the way. I'm not saying United were good for the win here. We were lucky and we got away with it. Yeah. However, they didn't create 15 chances in the game. Now, you know when Liverpool looked dangerous? I just mentioned that when Dalot turned it over, when United tried to press. And this is something that is going to be consistent on Saturday, because what do United have to do at home to Brighton, Christian? They need to press a bit more because you're the aggressor. You just said it perfectly. At Anfield, we got caught out a few times when we tried to press, and then you go, well, we can sit in. We're not a great side and we're away at the champions. However, at Old Trafford, how many chances are Brighton going to get? Because you've got to press. You've got to be the aggressor at home. Yeah. And this is where Bournemouth have been scoring 3. Newcastle have been beating us. Brighton have been beating us in recent years. So for me, I don't know what you can take from Sunday other than that we just came out on the right side of it. It was a better performance. The attitude was good. However, you can't sit in against Brighton and stop the transitions. If you high press Brighton with Casemiro and Bruno, are they going to go straight through us and are we going to lose on Saturday? I've got to see it. I've got to see us dominate Brighton on Saturday.
That's it. You've got to see this system consistently work, which what I fear is history has told us, Alex, that this system is very much a cup competition. Do I think that Tuchel could do something at the World Cup with that? Maybe, yeah, because we've seen it can work. He won a Champions League against us. You know what I mean? We obviously just decided to drop a DM, but you get my point. It does happen in these tournaments, and there's if you look deeper into that, and you're like, well, why does it work in tournaments and it doesn't work over a 38-game season? Because ultimately, in a tournament, it's a bit more basketball. It can be a bit more like that. Now, in a league season, like you said, you're going to come up against these guys. Alex, if you've got, I know you've played Burnley at home, you've got these teams that are going to go to Old Trafford or going to be at their ground. They're like, well, fuck it, we'll take a point. It's a decent point for us, Man United. What then do you do? What you do is what you just said. You're going to have to go to them. You're going to have to press. And how susceptible does that make you? Is it going to be a knife through butter? Which I'm going to be honest and say, I think it will be every time. I ultimately think this system, Alex, is still his downfall. It really is. I can't see the longevity to it whatsoever. Yes, you got the win. Great win. Great to get a win at Anfield. We all know this, how hard it's been for us, even in our prime. We can buy a win there. But you've also got to take it as what it is and then go forward. Fair play. If he puts a run together, Alex, and he can win 5 games on the bounce in the Prem, I'll be like, well, maybe they have turned a corner. But until I see it, I'm going to still ask these questions.
I agree. I don't think there's anything I can look and just hang my hat on from weekend other than that. I just think there was a lot of chances at both ends with 2 teams that are pretty poor defensively, and we managed to score 2 and they scored 1, and that's basically all I can take from it. You're right. I think that's chalk and cheese.
I think it's a mature point of view to take, because if you look at it, the frailties that have been there that have cost you games, cost you points ultimately, they were still there. Look, United did come out a bit on the lucky side. It was one of them. I mean, you obviously weren't watching the game live, Alex. It was, when Gakpo had them 2 that slapped the post, and then Salah had one where you're just like, he's got the angle. I mean, I've seen the video. Curtis Jones is running off celebrating.
Yeah.
Now, then you're just like, when they're not going in, you're like, it's just not their day. But usually Liverpool, I'll go with what you said on this, Alex. When they get one, I was like, it's curtains. They're gonna win now. It'll probably end up 3-1. They had 10 minutes to go, a long 10 minutes. And fair play to United, they did show some character.
They show some bollocks, yeah.
This is one thing I will give Amorim, Alex, is that, yes, I don't think that the way the game was played is transferable in terms of this system. I don't want to see him here. I don't want to see the excuses in the realms of that. But I will be on his side if them lot look like they can't be arsed against a mid-table side in a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you've got to play every game like it's that. You don't need it to be a Liverpool or a Derby.
The effort's there. For me, it's the same thing as that Gakpo chance. If we high press, which we didn't do loads of on Sunday, obviously, we're not going to. If we high press against Brighton and they go straight through the midfield, don't be coming for the players, because you saw it on Sunday. The difference is we limited those opportunities. You said knife through butter. Liverpool couldn't really knife through us because ultimately we sat in for a decent portion of the game, and we also went route one. So I agree. I think that the problems for me are still present. I don't know. I haven't watched a Ruben Amorim game in a year and gone, we've won that because 3-4-3 has shown me something. We haven't dominated the team. It was just a game. It was like a bit of a, like I said, it's a perfect example, a bit of a basketball game. We should have been 2-0 up with Fernandes. They should have then probably been 2-1 up, 3-1 up, and then they should have equalised to make it 2-2 at the end with Ekitike. It was gilt-edged. And that's all I can say with it, really. I don't know. Saturday for me, I don't know what you think on this. I think Saturday is the biggest game in Ruben Amorim's era because you've got the morale-boosting win that nobody thought you could go and get. Don't be getting battered by Brighton, because I can see it. You said it there. Amorim's going to come in presser and go, well, we beat Liverpool. The Amorim in people are going to go, the players are down in tools. No, they're not. The same problems that Brighton will expose on Saturday, that they might win, might not, they were there Sunday. We just limited it. We played differently. And I give credit to Amorim. He found a setup. He outdid Slot tactically. And we got away with it. Christian, I also want to talk about the talent's better at Man United this season. You're going to get games like that where we create more, we score more, we stop more because of Le Mans, and we'll come to Le Mans in a minute. And that's how I feel, is that the talent level of the United squad is higher. Garnacho and Cunha and Sesko Højlund and Mbeumo over whoever you were going to pick is an insane upgrade.
Yeah,
Garnacho is not a Prem winger. I've been saying this for, Christian, since we started the channel.
It's funny, Alex. When you brought up about Garnacho and you said Chelsea are finding out. Do you remember that short I posted? And it was very early on to this channel. And I was like, what you want to do is you want to get rid of him. I think this was the first time he booted off, so it might have been like the Jan window or something. Yeah. And I was like, what you want to do is you want to boot him out, and you want to make sure it's not you peddling this bullshit fucking thing that he's going to finally come good. Let it be Chelsea fans. He ended up at Chelsea 6 months after. And here we are. You know what I mean? They are finding out because they're like, oh, God, is this it? Is this all we've got with him? Yes, it is all you've got with him. That is what Garnacho is. That's what he's going to be until the end of his career, with a bit of bad attitude sprinkled on top.
I'm still
not to go too far into him. Obviously, he's gone the tool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, Alex, look, there was positives. I do feel like you need to see some relationship building in that team, because
how big of a game is Saturday? How big of a game is Saturday?
Alex, I agree with you totally. I think it would be debilitating if you go and lose, or to be honest, if you go and draw. I think if you don't go and kick on from that, I think it's like, well, right, where are we now then? You've just gone to the home of the champions. You've got the biggest win of your reign as Manchester United manager. Where do we go from here if the week later we're back again and we're trying to work it out? Is the system right again? It's got to be a win for me.
Yeah, 100% must win. And it's a performance that I want to see, because you're right. We can't play the same way. We're not going to play the same way at home to Brighton. We've struggled against the Brightons, the Bournemouths, the Forests of the world at Old Trafford. I think they all beat us last year. I mean, Christ, we lost.
Can I just ask you this though, Alex? Right, so you're going into that game off the back of a big win at Anfield. Tell me now, honestly, what do you expect? What do you actually think? If you had to make a prediction, gun to your head, will Manchester United win? Yes or no?
This Saturday coming up?
Yeah.
The thing that I know there's going to be issues on Saturday. I can already tell you what's going to happen. When we try and squeeze up the pitch, we're going to either get caught in behind with Welbeck, or we're going to get knifed through the middle of the pitch with their number 10, whoever plays there. And I also think Minter's going to cause whoever plays Dallo or Dorgu on the left problems. Yeah. So I know those problems are going to be there. Now, I also think we've got a good goalkeeper, and I think we've got a good attack. So we might come out on the right side of it result-wise. I'm telling you right now, Brighton will create chances because Burnley created chances, because Brentford scored 3, because 10 men Chelsea created chances. So I'm telling you now, Brighton are going to be dangerous Saturday and could win. However, is Le Mans going to have an 8 out of 10, and is the front three going to score a couple, which is very possible from what we've seen, and we'll come to Le Mans in a minute. What do you think? I mean, Brighton could win, if that's what you're asking me. Of course they could. Christian Burnley should have beat them.
Yeah, Brentford, so what? I'm guessing you are at home this weekend then.
I'll go win because I think morale means something, and I'd love United to go on a run. So I'm going to go with a win, and we have won 2 in a row.
Yeah. But that lad's nearly getting his hair cut, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? We've got 3 games coming up. Obviously, this one Saturday, you'd think we're going to be favourites, at least by the bookies. The 5th game is against. Sorry, I don't know who the 4th game is. I don't think it's a big team. And then the 5th game, Spurs. And this guy on Twitter said, so that would be 5 in a row if we beat Spurs. And this guy said, that game's bigger than the Europa League final for me. That Spurs one to get this guy an haircut.
It's so true, and he's going to live stream that and get some silly views with a guy with a fucking razor.
It's good crack, to be fair. And so look, mate, a prediction. It'll be 2-1 either way, in my opinion. Yeah. It depends on the high end of the pitch talent and how good Le Mans, who has been brilliant. I think it's a good segue into Le Mans, Christian.
I was just going to say on Brighton, Alex, first before we do go on to him. So I think the thing with Brighton and why I would swing towards them, if you look at the teams that ultimately have really caused this system problems, Brighton are kind of like the worst ones to come up against after that. Would it almost be better if you had a big, if you had like, say, an Arsenal or someone like that, where you knew there'll be an acceptance that you're allowed to sit back and hit them on transitions? Would that be better? Because Brighton are sort of going to out them situations. If you come onto them, they're going to have Mitoma, Minter, Welbeck, all very capable forwards that are going to cause them problems. Yeah. If you're caught lacking up front and all the defenders are at ones with each other, do you know what I mean? I think it is going to be a bit of a mad game. I'm looking forward to it, though. Is it the 3 p.m?
5:30.
5:30, okay. Right, yeah. So hopefully we'll be on to do a watchy for that.
Yeah, definitely going to do a watch along for that. So join us if you're watching this. Appreciate that. Yeah, 100%. It's a massive one. Like I said, me and Christian think it's the biggest game of Amorim's tenure because you've got the morale boosting win. Don't be coming at me saying that, the players are down to us. No. This system needs to beat Brighton at home. And if they are going straight through the middle of the pitch, like Liverpool did on Sunday occasionally, I appreciate we limited it because of the way we played. However, the back 3 are going to be 40 yards from Le Mans on Saturday, more often than they were on Sunday. Yeah. How are you going to contain Brighton's counter? Because we're going to be the ones getting countered. So a huge game. They've got pace on the break, and we can already see what's going to go on anyway.
If you look at it, Alex, as well, if Brighton, the people that will go, we'll look at the Liverpool performance, but if you look closely at that Liverpool game, and then you look at what's going to happen with the Brighton, if you then went and lost, you're going to be like, well, you can't really transfer that over because if they play the same way and give up the same chances that they did against Liverpool with Brighton, if Brighton take them, then you will lose the game. You know what I mean? So it's a bit like you can't really take too much from it, but enjoy the win.
Well, I mean, look, if Ekitike scores that free header, which he probably scores 8 times, 9 times out of 10.
Was it Ekitike? I thought it was Gakpo.
Sorry, Gakpo. My bad. I think I might have got it wrong early in the vid as well. Gakpo. Misses the gilt edge at the end. It's 2-2. What can you take from it? We get a point, and it was a fair result. Some might even say Liverpool probably deserved to edge it. Just before we come to Le Mans, I do just want to say the Fernandes assist for Maguire is just stupid that he even attempted it, and sums him up really perfectly of how important he is to this team and the control of that. I mean, it's a free header because nobody's expecting Fernandes to cross it.
Not only that, Alex, he played an even better ball earlier on in the game. I mean, I appreciate you might not have seen it because you didn't watch the full match. Obviously, you were flying back off holiday. And it was one, I think it was either out to Mbeumo or it was out to Amad. And it was a crossfield ball, unbelievable. It took everyone out the game. And he has got this in his arsenal, we know it. I think the frustrating thing is with Bruno is he tries it too often and doesn't execute it enough. But that game, fair play, he stood up, man. And he really, in moments... Bruno was really good.
He was. He went through a bit of a tough spell. Maybe he was blowing a little bit, but no, fair play to Bruno Casemiro. And like I said, I just think that they can get bypassed when we high press. And that's what happened on Sunday. We just didn't have to high press much because we're the underdogs, right? However, you're going to be high pressing on Saturday because you're at home against Brighton. So no disrespect to Brighton, by the way. So look, before we wrap up, let's talk about Senne Lammens, who had a really, really good debut against Sunderland before the international break. We, being United fans, are starved for a goalkeeper who is competent. We're not even talking. We're not talking Schmeichel, Van der Sar level here. We're talking competence. We're talking not letting crosses in. We're talking not diving out the way as shots straight at you.
Common sense.
Common sense goalkeeping. Catch it when it comes to you. Save the ones that are straight at you. And if you can pull off a worldie, that's a bonus. And what I'll say for Lammens, he has done everything he should and a little bit more in these 2 games. And the pressure on Saturday. Look, you're a goalkeeper. Every goalkeeper's under pressure. I get it. It's the worst position on the pitch. You make one mistake, it's a goal. And Lammens has not made any mistakes yet so far. He's been absolutely flawless. And he was great against Sunderland. If you remember Sunderland at the end, they had a 1-on-1.
Yeah.
And he kept that breathing distance by saving the 1-on-1. Okay, crap finish. Isaac, that goal would have stood. He was onside on Sunday. That was a 1-on-1. Yeah. He saved it. Or he made, he makes himself big. You know the Salah chance? Salah was rushed by Lammens, and Salah still should have scored. We were shocked he missed. However, Mbeumo and Onana ain't charging out there. They don't instinctively do what goalkeepers do.
They'd have somehow made the chance easier. That was the problem with them.
Stayed on the line, not narrowed the angle. Lammens was straight out to Salah. He rushed it, and you know how how we know he rushed it is because it came off the wrong side of his foot and went wide.
Yeah. I think you said it perfect, Alex. I think he's doing everything that he should do to a perfect level, really. And he's also going above and beyond. We've seen a little bit more from him. What I really liked, Alex, personally, was his presence as well in goal. You just touched on it a little bit there with the Salah chance that obviously he spooned out. I think you just felt, obviously, I'm watching it from an opposition fan point of view, and I felt like at ease. Obviously, I did actually want you to get something, so I didn't want Liverpool to score. And I kind of felt like it wasn't coming for Liverpool. And if it was Binder or Onana, it was always it was inevitable. But with him, I felt quite calm. I think he has that calming nature. He seems to do the simple things correctly. Look, we'll see. Obviously, we're going to have to watch a lot more of this lad. There was only one moment where he kind of misjudged the flight of a ball. It was like ballooned up in the air, and he almost jumped past it. And that nearly was a bit of an error. But other than that, I think he's exactly what United needed at probably the most important time. United needed a calming nature and someone who can do, let's be honest, the basics right. And it seems like he can do that. So fair play to him. That's 100%.
I'm really pleased with him. And yeah, like you said, that calmness, I just hope it continues because great goalkeepers have made mistakes. Senne Lammens is going to make mistakes in his Man United career. I just really hope it's not in the next 7 games and he can get through the first 9 or 10 unscathed and he does everything 7. He has a 7 out of 10 weekly for the foreseeable because I know how tough the position is and how starved we are as fans and how nervous we are as fans because of how awful Onana and Binder. And look, people talk about De Gea. I'm chucking the back end of De Gea in. There's a reason De Gea left the club. It was the right thing to do. Onana being shite does not change that. So we have had crap goalkeeping now for 2.5 years, probably 3. Because let's face it, Christian De Gea never recovered from that World Cup. The Ronaldo chance. That was 2018. That's 7 years ago. De Gea was never great after that.
Yeah, people gloss over the De Gea end because obviously the De Gea tenure in general, was spectacular. I think he was your player of the season every year, it seemed, at one point. But the end, let's not underestimate it, had gone quite bad. You know what I mean? He was letting in ridiculous goals.
The back end of that season was crap. The Gundogan volley. He's just scuffed, not the good one, the other one, the fucking scuffed one off the corner.
Exactly, I think he had a lot of them moments, but this is going back to Lammens, Alex, and I think what you want to see, them big games, Anfield away, don't underestimate the pressure there on that young lad's shoulders. Like, it is hard. I've seen Ederson flap at Anfield before.
Obviously, you watched it live, I watched it on catch-up. What was the feeling like with Lammens in the early stages? Obviously, the early goal's fantastic for everyone, but you still come under pressure. And obviously, he's at Anfield, the crowd get into it. Even at 1-1, how was Lammens dealing with the atmosphere, in your opinion?
Honestly, this is what I'm so impressed with. I don't think he was fazed by it one bit. I really think he seemed comfortable. He seemed like he was flourishing. He seemed like the kind of character that almost likes it. So that's exactly what you want, Alex. That is the most important thing. I mean, like you said, that position is the most unforgiving because you can have a fantastic, a worldy first 20 minutes. If in the 21st minute you drop a clanger, you've had a terrible game and everyone's on you and dare you to do it at an away ground and every single man in the stadium's on you. The away support are pissed off at you and all the home ground are piling on you. I think what he showed was character. It's important. United will, going forward, I think United will do well with him in the back line. It gives them a bit of insurance because what they did have was so bad. And then, you had this system that was floundering itself. And then, you had one of them two Burks in there that you knew if the opposition didn't score, they would make sure of it. Look, I think we're going to have to watch him going forward, bro, but I liked what I've seen so far, and I like the lad's character.
Both the games of Le Mans, well, Sunderland should have scored at the end. They probably would have done if it was Onana and Bayindir. Yeah. And I do not believe if Bayindir and Onana were in there on Sunday, we would have won the game.
Well, I'll give you a comp here, Alex, and this is not me getting at Trafford because we signed Donnarumma, right? But I'll just give you an example. When Trafford came in and we were at Wolves, it was absolutely fine. He wasn't under too much pressure. He had a good game. He did make some good saves, fair play to him. But then suddenly we had Tottenham and he was under a bit more pressure. We were at home, bear in mind as well. We were not away at Anfield. And suddenly he was getting rushed. And it felt from the first 5 minutes, oh God, he's flapping. And when that's your goalkeeper, you're nervy, and every guy in the stadium is nervous, and it infects into the players on the pitch. And I never at one point did I feel like that with Le Mans. So away at Anfield, I can't really give him a bigger compliment than that.
I thought it was a massive game. I mean, Liverpool United is a massive game, whoever's on the pitch. But for a goalkeeper making his second appearance for Manchester United after the Onana and Bayindir era, I thought he was exceptional. Shout out Senne Lammens, man. Please continue. Just do what you can do. Keep your head. And look, like you said, maybe the back three played a little bit better because of Le Mans. And you're right, the domino effect from just looking over your shoulder in the tunnel and seeing Bayindir or Onana there, you're on edge as a defender because there's no insurance. If there's a chance or a shot, it's in.
Alex, don't underestimate a good goalkeeper and what they can do for others' confidence. It does bring them on leaps and bounds. Look at us. I'm not saying Lammens is Donnarumma category. I know he is literally the best goalkeeper in the world. But look at what that's taken us from. People were talking about our City going to get top four. They look washed. Next minute, it's like, City are in a title race. Now I'm not hearing anything about Liverpool. It's City are going to be the ones that are going to have to stop Arsenal. And that is what a world-class keeper does. Patrick, our cousin, he's been on a few times. He said 10 to 15 points it gains you having a good goalkeeper. I believe that's true. And that's what Donnarumma is going to earn us. If he can do something similar, and bear in mind, Alex, he can get you 10 to 15 points more by just being competent as a goalkeeper. Now, if he is actually class, you're talking about possibly 30 points. You know what I'm saying? The difference, the jump could be huge.
No, I think it's a great way to summarise. Look, roll on Saturday, massive game. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit a like, subscribe. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think of the game on Sunday? Is it a turning point? Do you agree with what we've said? Do you disagree with what we said? Please hit us up in the comments. And obviously join us on Saturday for the watch along against Brighton. I think it's the biggest game of the Amorim tenure. My brother agrees, and I think everybody else does. If it's a win, it's 3 out of 3. If it's a loss, we're back to square one, right? Thank you for watching, Christian. As always, thank you for joining me, my friend, and we will see you on the next one. Bro.